was adjusting the camera. Hello, warriors. I am in Sicily. Finally, I arrived here, and it's nothing like I expected. Everyone talks about Sicily as this amazing place. Well, I feel like it's polluted, it's dirty, and it's noisy. I walking in the street is stressful, and and then I started thinking, why am I thinking all these things about a place? Why can't I just enjoy myself? And I have this guy at work. It seems unrelated, but just bear with me. I have this guy at work. He's Brazilian, and he comes from the favela, which is the slums in Brazil. And he says, well, I take everything very easily because I grew up in the slums, so everything is good for me. And actually, this guy is always happy, and I think most of us, whether we have mental illness or depression or not, or anxiety or not, we tend to have a different way of looking at things as other people have. We just don't see things that positively. Duh, that's just true. But then I start realizing, and I realize that I do that same thing. Maybe this is an extreme case where I am right now. I tend to mostly enjoy the places where I am traveling, but I tend to stress even in my holidays. I overplan, I overthink. I cannot have one day where I do nothing because I always have to run around. I always worry. I have all these stresses that comes that make no sense. And I don't look at things the way normal people look. So that's one thing for you. If you suffer from depression, constantly, or if you suffer from mental illness in general, and you know that if you had a depression once, or if you had a mental breakdown once, I don't think it's going to be an isolated thing. I'm not saying it's going to happen again. I'm just saying you have a predisposition to have a mindset that is likely to follow you for the rest of your life, which doesn't mean you cannot work on it. So if you do have this predisposition, which makes you have depressions, have anxiety, etc., a lot of it has to do with the way you look at things. And that was taught to you as a kid. Probably your parents were like this, primary caregivers were like this. I know my parents were totally like that. My mother was never happy, and she had everything in life to be happy. She had money, she had a nice job, stable job, everything, and still she was miserable all the fucking time. And I know that I learned that from her. So if you recognize yourself in this situation, don't just turn this thought into an automatic thought and stop to think every time you have this kind of negative thought or negative thought pattern, and think if there is any way else you can look at this. If, for example, you could be more like my Brazilian colleague who's always happy. I don't know if that's the way to go, but I know that in a way he's right about the way he faces life. That doesn't mean you have to have lived in a slum, I don't think. I think is catching yourself in the moment, being present, being mindful, catching yourself having that negative thought and thinking, okay, how can I substitute this thought for a more positive one? How can I view this situation in a more positive life? How can I transform this problem or this, I don't know, little setback in an opportunity? Okay, I will continue my Sicilian trip and try to transform it in an opportunity. It is nice, but it's just like, I just expected a bit less pollution. And the better weather. I guess that's also the thing. And I'll transform it in an opportunity to grow, because that's what grown-ups do, and that's what we do. Okay, happy healings.